And it's a shame that the younger guys now don't have that, that territorial mentoring by experienced guys to guide them and help them. They've got it rough because they really got to fight, to get their little spot on TV and get out there and do all the acrobatics. I mean, the things these guys do now are just amazing. The athletes, the kids now in the wrestling shows are just amazing athletes. And, I couldn't do that kind of stuff. I mean, I never tried to.
Right. And let's talk a little bit about old school wrestling versus new school wrestling. So I know nowadays there's people say the matches are very regulated. All those spots that they do, they have to know them beforehand and maybe memorize them, right? So Grim, what do you think about that? When you go into a match, what do you know about the match?
Usually everything.
Everything? Okay.
I don't mind, calling things on the fly. But especially if it's like a match where we have like a lot going on, like I'll sit up here, like I don't call my heat. I usually don't call like the beginning, if we're going to chain, I never call a chain. But like the heat, I'll say, all right, look, if you feel me doing this, this is what's going to happen. Like I'll give them audibles, like just in case something happens. So I'm like, look, just look for this. It may happen, it may not. But like, especially if you're doing like acrobatic stuff or you have like high spots, they need to know, where to be and how to take it. But if you're just doing like a, regular match, I would say, with nothing that spectacular, whatever, you can just call it from the fly.
Right. And so Brutus, when you were going into matches, what did you guys know about the match?
Yeah, you got to finish. That was it. I mean, the guys I was fortunate to work with Honky Tonk and like Kurt Hennig, for instance. Kurt Hennig and I did WrestleMania, 6 in Toronto. We have 90,000 people or something.
Yeah.
We didn't even really have to talk about the match. I mean, we know they give us the finish. We got us stuff. We went in there and let the people dictate.
Yeah.
The feel of the crowd, what's working out there. Kurt was just an amazing talent, and so it was just so much fun being in there with him. There was such electricity, and him and I had a chemistry that was amazing in there, and we didn't even have to try. And just, I mean, the people are going crazy, and it's just that in itself made the match so easy, and we were able to call some things in the ring if we needed to, but he and I had previous matches, enough matches where I knew when he just by his motion, what he was doing, I knew what he was going to do. He knew what I was going to do. And it made, to try to memorize a match, if they tried to tell me I had to memorize a match, I'd laugh him right out of the room. I'd say, I can't do that. I never memorized the match from the first time I ever went to the ring. To the present day, and when I was wrestling in independence for years and having wrestled some of the young guys, and they'd come and say, okay, Bruce, they expected me to say blah blah blah. Then I say, don't worry about it, kid. I'll call it in the ring, and they would be scared to death. But once we got in the ring and the crowd, when I got the crowd going, I had to, it was easy. I had the crowd in the palm of my hand. And I would lead them through a match and everything. And then at the end, they would realize, oh, yeah, that's what he meant. You have to plan out. Because the spontaneousness of the match is what the people really want to see. And
exactly.
When you have sometimes a match that's all planned out, that's the way it comes off as.
So you think the crowd can see through it?
Yeah, and that, so it takes that whole mystery of actual real competition, a match, who's going to win, takes that away, kind of. It takes the mystery of the whole thing away. When people say, it's just planned, they know what they're going to do.
Grim, could I get your thoughts on that? Do you think it makes the match a little shallow, or?
No, he definitely has a point. It's not. Like with some of the shows that I've been on before, I started doing, quality over quantity. And like a lot of those guys, it's like, you know, they need to call everything, or even if they didn't, or if they called everything, it would look like it's planned out. And like even now, like with some of the shows that I work, you can tell like with some of the sequences they do where it's like it looks choreographed. I mean, that doesn't really, you know, it doesn't look like it's realistic. I mean, but some fans like that. Me, I like my matches, you know, looking. I always like to throw like a curveball in my match sometimes, so people really don't know what's going on. I don't, you know, if I'm in a like submission hold or something like that, I don't just lay there and, you know, oh my gosh. Like if I get up, I'm gonna start punching them, and you know, like I'm actually trying to get out. I'll start like, you know, wailing on till they force me to go back down.
Exactly.
Like actually, it's funny. Like we were talking about this. I just did a gender reveal match for my friend. And you know, in that match, you can see, you know, when I was in the submission hold, you know, he had me there, and I'm literally punching him, and you know, like trying to get him off until he like wrenches it, and then like makes me go back down. Like a lot of people don't see that. A lot of it just seems so, you know, choreographed or just like fake. I like making my stuff look realistic.
Woo, Mr. Daddy, Boogie Woogie Man feel good. I tell my people, my brothers and sisters, don't you dare miss online, rewind, recap, relive. Oh yeah.